Like, a lot of our families aren't necessarily the most accepting in terms of who we are, and having a place like this, you're basically coming home to a family.
It's kind of like my Cheers. This is where I go where people know who I am and who I really am.
A lot of people who come here, it's like family, so it's nice to be able to see them again and to engage with them again.
Wonder Bar owner Tanner Effinger is invested in Syracuse.
Syracuse is a city that has a lot of potential.
The pandemic keeps getting in the way of his commitment to the LGBTQ community of Central New York. Effinger's husband, Nick West, says that commitment is more meaningful than making money.
We've had a lot of people who tell us that this is one of the only places that they feel safe to come, who identify as queer.
Coming here and meeting Tanner and Nick, and then meeting all of the patrons that come here and support Wonder Bar, it just helps me be part of basically something bigger than myself.
Small businesses like Wonder Bar are counting on federal loans, like the Federal Paycheck Protection Plan, to keep their doors open. Wonder Bar received roughly $28,000 through the PPP.
Nearly 17,000 businesses and nonprofits in Central New York took out a loan through the Federal Paycheck Protection Plan. That's according to the Small Business Administration.
However, funding hasn't been equally distributed, said Upstate Minority Economic Alliance Director Michelle Brooks-Rowling. The UMIA is an agency for economic development on behalf of professionals of color.
Access to capital was a challenge that pre-existed even before the pandemic when it comes to minority-owned business enterprises.
Brooks mentioned that UMIA asked 36 business owners who work with her group if their business had been affected by the pandemic. 83% responded yes. 24 out of 36 responded they had applied for financial assistance.
It was interesting to note that in the follow-up, did you actually receive the funding? The numbers began to dwindle a little bit more.
One other obstacle businesses face is loan forgiveness. They don't always qualify for it.
We also got a local Syracuse loan. That money's all gone as well. And of course, these are loans. So I have to pay them all back. I promise you, my landlord is not going to let me not pay rent. So it's currently all on the independent business to be able to stay alive on their own.
Wonder Bar closed from March until June. They reopened for just a week before closing again. Loosened restrictions in August brought business back on weekends, but the customer numbers have dropped by 2/3.
I think we'll get about at our biggest events about 100 to 150 people, but they all have to be seated the whole time. They have to order food.
Despite the drop in customer numbers, Wonder Bar's commitment to the LGBTQ community is a reason to keep fighting for their business.
We're trying to do this thing called radical inclusivity so that everybody can feel welcome here, feel safe here, not have to worry about harassment and stuff.
This is a place where I never have to worry about what I'm wearing, how I talk, who I'm with, and there aren't very many places like that around, so this place is very important to me.
I think there's also an element of making ourselves visible to each other.
Wonder Bar owners said they're not quitting.
We haven't thrown in the towel just yet. We're not giving up, and I don't want people to think that we are. We're trying as hard as we can.
Well, we're doing everything I think we can.
I am Domenico Orellana for the News House.